So how do you build the perfect multivitamin? I think I just explained it to you, but here's how we do it. So if you came to my office, like we're in right now, I could show you the wall here. Maybe I'll Chad move it and you can see, well, my wall is just full of all diagrams like this, right? So what you do is this, I'm gonna superimpose vitamin D here. So first of all, you have a list of all your 32 here, right? So you take your 32 things here, and many of them you don't need to supplement because there are things that every human being gets just accidentally all the time. So there's things you don't, but there's about 19 or 20 that you have to, and you saw that on the previous slide. So you identify the micronutrient that we need to supplement, right? Okay, in this single pill multivitamin, you find out what we're eating, and that's the number. I use vitamin D for an example. So we're getting about, daily very, very low vitamin D. It's a huge problem. Rickets is coming back again for the first time, and we wiped it out with vitamin D supplementation and milk, but people stopped drinking milk, so we're seeing our kids grow up with rickets again, or early bone disease. So mean daily intake of foods right around there. Once I know that, and of course I know the RDA, you can see the gap already. I can see that. Then I know the upper limit. So no matter what happens, no matter what we give someone a supplement, I do not want to cross 100 mics, which is about 4,000 IUs. Micrograms we have to use now because they just changed the ruling, the laws and so forth. So that's what you're going to see on labels. We'll use both for now. So what's the gap between the food intake and RDA? Well, there it is there. What's the gap between the food intake and UL? So I know I can't cross that no matter what I do. Guess what? There's your supplement. Somewhere between 20 and 40. Amazing, isn't it? But no one does that. No one ever does. They just throw stuff in a bottle, or they make a single one, or one with only 4 or 5, or doesn't have all the missing nutrients or any of that stuff. No one does that except you. And that's the difference. These are some notes on there for you. You'll see a lot of notes I'm not going to talk to. This is because so you guys can download this and get it. So from now on, when you see one of our multi-formulas, there's a hell of a lot of thought going behind these numbers, right? But what that means is, what happens if you do this? Where 75% of the population is low on calcium, and of course that sets you up for risk of osteoporosis later on in life. And in fact, it's got one of the very few health claims that it can help prevent that, right? The proper use of it. But here's the thing. I have to make this calcium because I can't fit it in a pill. I wish I could fit it in a multi. That would be great, but it'd be the size of a shoe. So I can't do it. If you need calcium, you need at least probably 250 or 500 mgs, which would blow the size up of the multivitamin. So it's got to be in a separate supplement. But that means it has to work by itself. So I can't trust the fact that everyone that uses this is going to use our multi, right? So what I've got to do is I've got to design this to work by itself. And I told you, calcium doesn't work in a vacuum in the bones. It needs vitamin K, both forms, K1 and K2, to make sure it gets to the bone, not just the cardiovascular system. And you need vitamin D, and you need magnesium. So those things are all in the multi, though, as well, right? So you got to think about that. When this customer's taking this, we just got to make sure that we do not cross the UL over here of vitamin D and anything else that might be in there, like vitamin K and magnesium. So the thought process, no one does this. This is called synergistic with everything that you take. And again, obviously, Mr. or Mrs. Jones going to GNC or bodybuilding.com or some website to buy this stuff, to buy a multi and calcium, which is two most popular supplements out there along with omegas. They don't know that. And now what are they doing? They're crossing the UL when they mix these two. Okay, or they're just way underformulated and they're not working anyway. So, or they're missing something that's not putting it all together. So I just want you to know, I'm giving you this, you need to know what's behind the stuff that we do. And by the way, I'm sure you just saw this. We just finally got NSF certified on calcium because a lot of our athletes, there are quite a few of them now that might be going vegan. And so we got to make sure that they're getting a calcium supplement, even though this is not vegan, but I'm just saying they're using it or they need to take a calcium NSF certified supplement. It is vegetarian. They're going vegetarian is what I meant to say. So we just to make sure that we have a calcium stuff that's NSF certified for them. We never needed it before, but we have it in pro sports big now because a lot of guys aren't getting as much as they need. And that obviously, I don't need to tell you how important bone health is for that.